Hi, and welcome to Oracle Storytelling, January 2021 edition. So, it's the end of I guess, technically second week of the new year, and it's been a big week for everyone. A lot of different feelings are coming up, a lot of different for myself, a lot of positive forward movement, also some uh, upsetting things. It's really been a mix, and we've had gains and losses for sure this week. So I just want to step into the new year. I grabbed Busamite today. It's a kind of like a strawberry ice cream color, like pink, like strawberry ice cream. And one of the qualities about the stone is its connection to inner child or just playfulness. And I know that's something that's really important for my life on Earth, period, is to have that playfulness. And like what happens with so many things is I see this little stone, and the first thing I wanted to do was grab it. And when I grab it, it sits naturally in my hand, like I feel like I want to write with it, like a little crayon. So when I found out that was a quality, I thought it's perfect. My body, your body always knows. So my body naturally responded to the stone in a very playful, like little crayon way. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna help me, but I want to write with it. Can't write with it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'm just bringing this in, and just the energy of this, like again, this kind of strawberry ice cream pink, and a color I've definitely been more and more attracted to, and it's just a very loving and self-love energy, heart-centered energy, and self-loving in the way of that playfulness and connection, like creative playfulness. And I think we could all connect a little more to our inner child, who isn't obsessed with things, isn't driven by outcome, is driven more by joy or wanting joy, following and finding joy in everything, like finding a stone, kind of just doing a little dorky play with it and go, yeah, there's something here, like listening to your body and picking up a little something that you can hold, and something different, and a new supportive little aid. For all the sugar I had today, my energy is a bit low, but I've had a wonderful day after a very long week. And I know everybody's week has been very long and had a lot of ups and downs and range of emotion. So today I'm doing a storytelling, and I'm just going to do, you can watch both stories. I have two butterflies, and if you want to choose one butterfly story or the other, you can do that, or you can just listen to both stories. It'll just be a little tale told through a couple books and a couple oracle decks. So, if you want to choose, I'll just hold my hands like this for a minute if you want to just get an instinct on which hand I'm going to open. You can show you the butterflies. Okay, so we have the green butterfly, and green and blue, and then kind of this speckly little wild cheetah butterfly. So you can think about which one you're attracted to. You can pause the video and you can put your hand over and see which one feels like an energy that draws you in. Whatever naturally makes sense to you. Okay, so I'm just going to start the tales like this. For group one, no. For group one, we're going to go with this little speckly butterfly, and there's a message on the back, and it says, thinking of you. So I'd also already say that to start, this message is telling me someone is thinking of you, and thinking of you in extremely kind and loving ways, and has your best interest at heart. Thinking of you. Maybe you know who that is. Maybe that's you. Okay, so I use the Alice in Wonderland Oracle, and for the books, I just did Divination Open, and same thing with the cards. So we have belong to your own dream. Create your own life. And look at that. I love this card because it looks like it's just like melted caramel hair. I love that. So someone's thinking of you. You know, maybe this card is about really changing your life. Really stepping out of any boxes that you're put in by others. Really making big transformation in your life. Create your own life, right? So whatever script you're following, whatever relationships you're in that are just like, you're just kind of in them and they really don't help you expand. They kind of keep, support you in a contracted state. They're not really supporting your expansion. They're not supporting your soul purpose. You're just kind of comfortable in the cage, right? It's create your own life. And I love this because it's dream. Like what are those dreams that you have? Like, what are you moving towards? Think about yourself. Think about the things that naturally make you smile, that you gravitate towards personally, what personally makes you happy, not thinking of any specific person or place, just what makes you happy. And I love this because it's the dream, and when we dream, dreams take us any and everywhere, and we can do visualizations going any and everywhere if we'd like. And then, if you are kind of just hanging in the cage, decorating, making the best, every few years, maybe just changing up, the bars a bit. I love this because look, obviously now the planning and the next steps of the life are outside that cage, right? And in this beautiful grass and full of flowers. Okay, so it's really about making big changes. This is really like fulfilling your soul purpose, taking on your personal responsibilities and personal possibilities and expansion, and not waiting around to wonder what you're missing. By missing, I mean what other versions of experiences that you could learn and grow from could you wander into if you went left instead of right, or up up and sideways 6 times, whatever it is. Okay. So I guess this is, so the first book I chose is The Universe Always Has a Plan by Matt Kahn. So I'm just going to say, I just did a divination, so I'm going to say this will be advice on how to create your own life. The law of attraction, like the law of attraction, true healing isn't always a matter of getting what you want, but receiving all that you need to help you transform at your most optimal capacity. This is perfect. There's a certain amount of time you are meant to spend under specific personal conditions and various states of consciousness. By being at certain levels of consciousness for specific periods of time, you build up the necessary pressure to inspire the growth and expansion needed to guide you along to your next highest level of consciousness. That is why everything is the way it is. So that's perfect. I think it's just another batch of words of encouragement to know that, whether you're staying where you are or you're deciding to make a U-turn in your life, your experiences are going to benefit from all the tools that you've collected along the way. Yeah. And then I love this is the Belong to Your Own Dream card, because the other book I chose was by Jeremy Taylor. And it's The Wisdom of Your Dreams. Dream. In order to truly grow and evolve, I, like so many others, must follow my feminine soul into the frightening and disorienting depths of my unconscious emotional being. No matter how fearful and symbolically life-threatening the journey may appear to be, such a willing descent into the depths of personal unconsciousness, albeit the result of being tricked into it, always leads eventually into the levels of archetypal unconscious symbolism that we all share collectively. So how do I want to, I don't think I want to interpret it literally. I'm just going to interpret this in context to the story. So, I think that in general, when you think, so feminine soul, let's think of that as feminine soul energy. So not so much as a gender, but masculine and feminine. And the more shadowy side of the masculine energy can be very impatient and very angry and threatening. And whether you're male or female, the feminine soul energy has been something that has been suppressed and attacked. You don't have to be, female gender to have been tempted to be dominated or suppressed. Having your feminine soul energy dominated or suppressed. It's something that's happened throughout time. And we see examples of it all the time and every day, and explosive examples of this in the news. So I'm going to look at this like when you delve into the depths of this like life-threatening journey. I'm going to then look at it like ego and soul. And so the ego popping up to feel unsafe and threatened constantly, because the soul isn't scared or threatened. The ego is very threatened. It's a very, that's the fighting energy. And when that's fighting and arguing and saying, you don't have, you have a key to the cage that you're in. It's going to make it very drastic, but you have a key to the home that you're in, right? And it's like, but you don't have a key to that house that doesn't exist yet. And the other part of you is like, no, but it's waiting for me. It'll be there when I get there, And the ego's like, no. But like, if you go anywhere, how will you, maybe nothing will ever appear before you. And then you'll have to come back anyway. And you have a key, so let's just stay here. Okay? But what part of the job of ego becomes, it says, albeit the result of being tricked, because the ego's never going to stop fighting. So we have to learn how to love parts of ourselves enough so they can let go and they can integrate and they can have a remembrance that they're parts of the soul, they're parts of our larger expansive journey. I just thought contractions before birth, if you think of contractions and then the expansion, new life, create, this creation of your new life, create your own life. And I'm just going to draw one last card to end on. And how is this going to apply? Just the word motivation. So I might just get the motivation card. We'll see. But we'll just see how this fits in to kind of close our story. So the card, and I love this card, I think it's so pretty, is sensuality. Isn't that beautiful? I like this little, I'm not going to read from the book, but look at this little foxy dude. And he's got this cool, looks like almost like the way it's laying on his head, it's like this little crown. So sensuality. And sensuality, when I think about it, I think of it also as self-knowing. Knowing yourself, knowing your body. Your body knows, being kind and loving in all types of ways. Supporting your senses in all types of ways. There's a range of supporting your senses, trusting your body, and being playful, from holding a pink crystal and just wanting to play and like thinking about it like a crayon to play with, to more intimate ways of knowing your body and being playful. So maybe this is just saying, if there are aspects of your body that it's been a minute since you've connected with, and I think it's really easy to fall out of connection with body. Something comes to mind for me. I think, oh yeah, every day lately you're like, so yoga? Yeah. But if something pops to mind, just think about, maybe I want to do that. And maybe I'd like to do that right now. Okay, I'm going to do the second story. Okay. So, if you chose this little guy here, the message on the back that we're going to start with is, you are a blessing. You are a blessing. So you are a blessing. The universe is telling you, and I'm telling you, you are a blessing. So if your heart is feeling heavy for any reason, there's so many different ways that you can, you could maybe just sing with your hand on your heart, I am a blessing. I am a blessing. Maybe putting your feet on the earth or hands on the earth, or if you have a potted plant, if you have a potted plant, put your hands in the dirt and just say, I am a blessing, I'm a blessing. Or these are just ideas, right? But how do you remind yourself that you are a blessing? If your heart is feeling heavy, know that you don't have to carry the weight of the world. Somebody needs to hear that, you are a blessing. And the reason, and think about it even further back, you are just a blessing today, period. You are a blessing. And you've blessed many, many people's lives. You will bless many in the future, people and animals. Let's not forget, like, all the animals, okay? And you're a blessing to, you're a blessing to yourself. You can bless yourself in so many different ways. So, okay, let's see. So again, I use the Alice in Wonderland Oracle for the first card of our story. But so far, lovely. You are a blessing. So did you forget that? Remind yourself. Look in the mirror. And if it's weird and you laugh, say something close to it, or look up a tapping video. Even though my heart is heavy and I've been crying this entire past week, I forgive everyone and I am a blessing. Whatever it is, but that's the setup statement a lot of times for tapping. Anyway, okay. So the first card is, it's always tea time. Yeah, so already can tell this is like, well, it doesn't feel like, maybe the conflation of my life doesn't feel like a blessing is being conflated with, that means I'm not a blessing. Don't get it twisted. So this is about this isn't about this is about repetition, right? And the way things are done and the way you do things and the way things have been set up, that you follow these patterns. It's not the idea that you absolutely hate how things are. It's really about looking at the way that you structure the things in your life and possibly recalculate, like changing up the timing, the layout, the structure of these things that you put in your life, because they do serve a purpose and give a joy, but the way they could just be the way they're scheduled. It's always tea time. Yeah, changing up the schedule and getting in a flow where when you're changing your routine, it doesn't just create this like temporary, new fresh feeling. It changes up stagnant energy. You're moving these kind of in place building blocks that are holding space with yourself and other people. And so it's really about also seeing that, like, you are a blessing. And if, you don't have to throw it all away and start over. It doesn't have to be like, I've set up, the things I'm doing are wrong. My whole life needs to change. This is more like, if your life doesn't feel like a blessing, maybe you're not feeling like a blessing, but you don't feel like, try tweaking and changing things up that would make your life easier in the way that you've rearranged, say, your schedule. You will thank yourself. You will feel like more of a blessing to yourself, and your life will feel like more of a blessing when you're showing up for yourself first before you're showing up to these situations. And, everything's, if you feel like, it's kind of easier said than done, that's as good as any place to start, but it's better if you don't stop at that place and you keep going. So this is great because, so one of the books that I chose was, I don't feel like it, which I think is perfect, because usually when we say, like, I don't want to, and we're kind of bitching about stuff we do all the time. Again, sometimes it's so close. We just need to tweak it so we can have a more joyful experience. Um, so I just love, so it's kind of this energy that comes up every once in a while, but it's not hateful energy. It's not so hard and dense energy that you can't, just swat it around a bit and mold it like clay until, yeah, I think that's perfect though, because sometimes like, I don't want to, I don't feel like it. Are you kidding me? We all feel that way, right? But this is just saying, let's move past that. What's the next step? So maybe this will tell us the next step. Where did I go? Being in the garden and working with weeds. Already, this is perfect. So, a garden and weeds. You don't have to move and buy a new property with a new garden or tear down yours. Pull out the weeds, right? Yeah. Being in the garden and working with weeds. Well, we'll see. This too is an important phase of practice, the phase in which we practice disidentification. Here we become more deeply aware of what the voices say, how conditioning works, and how our karma plays out. We realize that our true nature is not conditioning or karma. We see that what we are is that which we notice. Disidentification is such a powerful place in practice because it is possible to see, hear, and feel all the human being is suffering without being identified with the suffering or with the person who suffers it. It is important to realize that this is a phase from which we can move on. We could call this phase awareness observing conditioning. So I think, again, this is kind of just like a reframing. It's the idea of reframing how you're seeing your life. It's not total being totally dissatisfied. Maybe it's just like, why is it always tea time? But you're not putting aside time aside to reassign how things are organized in your life, And once you start maybe scheduling a little downtime and doing that, you can find out why it's always tea time, and just shift things around. And so, I mean, there's something to be said about, what we're paying attention to, or if we identify with our external versus, if we think our life is not a blessing, then we can, conflate that and go, I am not a blessing. If we put it on the external and it slowly or quickly attaches to us and starts just kind of like chomping away at our, at us, and we develop, fears and insecurities and everything else. So yeah, there's something to be said about, if you focus on different things, there's the idea you focus on different things, you bring more of that into your reality. I think it's really more of an emotional focus, how you emotionally focus on things is more important. All right, and for the last book we have Lunar Flower Priestess. That's a great name, by Hannah Corbett. Let's see what she's going to tell us. Hang on. Tips and precautions. Oh, good. Look, we get some tips on how to do this. Dried leaf and flower herbs are mostly infused. It is bolded and in quotes, which means boiled water is poured over them, then allowed to sit for 20 to 30 minutes, gently releasing the essence into the fusion before straining. Depending on the density or lightness of the herbs and their taste, you would use between a teaspoon and a 1/4 cup herbs per 1 cup water. You can generally adjust the ratio of herbs to water according to your personal taste. Okay, well, I gotta show this because I love this so much. Hello, tea time. Just synchronicity is so cool, right? because tea time, we're talking about tea. So how I'm going to translate this is just very metaphorically. So here's a tip. Sit with an idea for 20 or 30 minutes. Sit with your schedule for 20 or 30 minutes. Sit with an outline of things you need to do and how things are structured currently for 20 or 30 minutes. Sit with a pen and paper and write it out. Sit in a closed or open eye meditation. Sit with the idea in a space where it is you in the space with a word, an intention, this idea, your schedule. And then I love this, depending on the density or lightness. So depending on the density or lightness, between a tablespoon and a quarter cup of herbs. You know, between the density and the lightness of how things are stacked in your schedule, you know, adjust accordingly. How much can you add in of something that, you know, you're missing? Can you add another teaspoon here or something? Another quarter cup somewhere else? Okay. And then, where'd that card go? Okay, I'll use last card. Then the last card is going to come from the Flowers of the Night Oracle. We're just going to finish this tale and see what else we need to know. That face is called Not Trusting the card that came out for some reason. Oh my god, this is great. So the last card is Celebration. Casablanca. Man, I can't talk. Casablanca Lily. And doesn't that just look like a huge explosion? And doesn't that look like a shooting star? Celebration. This is beautiful. Like, celebration makes me think remembrance, you know, being back in a more balanced state, a more joyful state, remembering that you are a blessing. Maybe because you feel like the cobwebs of your daily life have been cleared open a bit. This is just bursting forth. Look at all the room opened for expansion. Look, it's huge lily, these big flowers, these big petals, this big opening. It's going to open up something. You're going to open up to something. Something's going to open you up. Celebration. Beautiful, beautiful card. Okay. So remember, whether you are a pinky speckled butterfly or a green and blue watery butterfly or both, ooh, someone is thinking of you and you are a blessing. So keep kind to yourself. Find the kindness if it feels buried. Know there's always a path back to find it. It's always inside yourself. You can always go back. And know you are very loved and you are very safe. No matter what is chomping on your shoulder or your head or your stomach. I don't mean that literally. If something's chomping on your stomach, you know, probably tell someone. But you are very loved, and I hope that if you watch this, you found a little peace, or at least a little distraction to make a little space. And if you are having a heavy heart or an angry mind right now, just know whatever emotions you're burning through, at the end, they're just going to provide an open space that more love and joy and kindness and everything else that everyone wants to feel all the time and love can enter through. So until next time, I am Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts. And we'll see you next time.